Meghan says no to the royal visit. Harry has to rent a hotel room in the UK. Hello, friends. Welcome to breaking royal news about the notorious hypocritical couple, Harry and Meghan Markle, on our Royal Trust channel. Prince Harry is scheduled to return to the United Kingdom next month, but his wife won't be accompanying him. Harry, aged 38, is preparing to attend the annual Well Child charity event in London on September 7th, a commitment he's upheld for 15 years. Following this, he will head to Germany for the 6th edition of the Invictus Games competition. Nonetheless, sources familiar with the situation inform us that he will be making this journey alone, as Meghan Markle, his wife, has prior obligations with their children, Archie, 4, and Lilibet, 2. Moreover, it appears that the Duke of Sussex won't be visiting his estranged family during this time. The royal family will be commemorating the 1-year anniversary of Queen Elizabeth II's passing the following day. Meghan won't be accompanying him, mainly due to the fact that she isn't welcome in the United Kingdom anymore. She lacks the courage to face the country, let alone stand before the royal family, whom she has consistently criticized since departing. The damage she has caused is insurmountable, making it impossible for her to confront them. Frankly, Harry showing his face is audacious in its own right. Insiders indicate that Harry hasn't received an invitation to join the family for a private event at Balmoral Castle that evening. A source previously informed The Sun that there hasn't been any outreach from the royal family to them. It appears that Harry is also displaying a degree of insecurity, complaining about not being invited to an alleged intimate event at Balmoral Castle. Questions arise about what this event is. It's worth noting that William and Catherine are expected to be in Wales at that time. Harry's sense of paranoia stems from the fear of being excluded. He seems oblivious to the fact that his own actions, including leaving and criticizing everything in his wake, have contributed to his current situation. Even Edward learned the hard way that one is aware of their standing within the family only when they are no longer part of it. He desires to prove that he's still desired in their company while simultaneously relishing the role of rejecting an invitation. It's suggested that Charles never revoked the invitation granted to Harry by the late Queen, but it's highly unlikely he'll extend another. Harry appears to be experiencing a crisis as he realizes that his departure hasn't caused the turmoil he expected. He's struggling to demonstrate his ongoing value within the family, even though it's evident that he's being left behind. He is experiencing paranoid beliefs, possibly influenced by drugs, that there are secretive meetings and private moments occurring without his presence, and mainly revolving around discussions about him. He genuinely thinks of himself as the central figure within the British royal family. Ironically, they have a multitude of more fascinating and significant subjects to discuss apart from Harry. For instance, Catherine has 3 children. George is being prepared for his role as the future Prince of Wales and eventually the future king. Charlotte is maturing rapidly and has demonstrated the ability to manage her siblings effectively. Louis remains incredibly endearing as always. Charles is now a grandfather of 3, and the other 2 grandchildren come with no obligations but also with significant expectations. He has plenty of grandchildren at this point. The late Queen, Her Majesty, had a large number of grandchildren due to having 4 children. Charles's life is not as crowded, and he likely accepts this fact. Therefore, there's a considerable amount of space for Harry to retreat into. If he chooses not to provide his children with the advantage of having a king as their grandfather, they can hold him accountable when Charles passes away before they can independently decide whether to associate with him. Interestingly, Harry failed to comprehend that the coronation would be the final event he'd be invited to. As far as the royal family is concerned, he is no longer a member. Most of us understood this. I was certain that Charles only wanted his second son present at the coronation for historical reasons and to have him there in some capacity. He accomplished that, and afterward there will be no further interactions between Harry and his family. He might consider himself fortunate if he's allowed to tour some of the palaces with the general public. It's possible that he and Meghan are on the do not allow list. Personally, that's the approach I'd take. Lily and Archie may only visit their ancestral family homes through organized tours. It's unfortunate for the two children to have a mother like Meghan Markle. She appears to be in control, but things continue to worsen. For instance, Harry headed straight to the airport after the coronation ceremony to supposedly attend Archie's birthday party. This is the same child whose mother chose to go on a paparazzi-covered hike on the same day without any children present. Furthermore, he couldn't have returned home before 9 p.m. Pacific time at the earliest, well past a normal bedtime for a 4-year-old. This indicates that Harry and Meghan lack an understanding of a suitable bedtime for their children. This responsibility seemingly falls on the nanny. It's likely that Meghan, by that hour, has indulged in a few glasses of Tig or something stronger and hasn't noticed her children's bedtime. The rapid change in plans was primarily her suggestion, and the excuse of needing to return for Archie's sake was entirely her own creation. He merely acquiesced, as one can only wonder about the absurd threats she might have employed to ensure his immediate return from the event where she was unwelcome. She wields their children as leverage to keep him under control, a tactic commonly employed by most narcissists. Imagine growing up with them as parents, and later discovering that the grand and loving family, the incredible history, and the wonderful life could all have been theirs if their parents weren't such vindictive, narcissistic individuals. If they ever have the chance to meet their cousins, the encounter will likely be an uncomfortable 5 minutes culminating in a somber handshake. Subsequently, George, Charlotte, and Louis will continue to fulfill their responsibilities for the kingdom, while Archie and Lil will discreetly exit, fading into oblivion. Those unfortunate kids certainly don't deserve such a fate, yet with Harry and Meghan as parents, genuine trust is elusive. Contemplate the potential tell-all they could write one day. Hopefully, their parents are still alive to experience the impact of such a revealing book about them. I'm still astonished by how this woman relinquished the opportunity to live as a royal in London. All she needed to do was maintain a low profile, show respect for a few years, and support the Queen, now King. She could have enjoyed a lifetime of fame, all expenses covered, multiple residences, a dedicated staff, and influence over A-list celebrities. The irony is profound, considering the poor choice she made. One might call it karma for her past questionable actions. According to reports, during this upcoming solo visit, Prince Harry will need to seek permission from the palace if he intends to stay on a royal estate when he returns to the UK early next month. This comes after he and Meghan were ousted from Frogmore Cottage by King Charles. Their eviction took place earlier in the summer. Now, while in the UK, he must formally request access to an apartment within one of the royal estates or consider staying with friends or in a hotel. He last stayed at his previous marital residence in June, a visit prompted by his participation in a High Court phone hacking case against Mirror Group newspapers. The Well-Child Awards ceremony, scheduled for September 7th, comes just one day before the 1-year mark of Queen Elizabeth's passing on September 8th. Last year's event occurred on September 7th, and in 2021, it took place on June 30th. Insiders report that Harry has no intention of encountering his brother or father during his brief visit. Sources further reveal that while the significant date might offer an opportunity for the family to mend fences in memory of the late Queen, relationships between the Duke and his brother and father remain severely strained. In contrast to the previous year's widespread expressions of sorrow and the series of official events, there are no public or private family gatherings scheduled for the anniversary of Queen Elizabeth's passing. She died at Balmoral last year at the age of 96 during her customary summer stay at the castle. On this day, the King and Queen are anticipated to engage in personal reflection at Balmoral, upholding the tradition set by the late Queen. Charles typically resides at Birkhall, his private dwelling on the estate. Prince Andrew is also anticipated to appear at the Scottish residence, accompanied by his daughters. It remains uncertain if other members of the royal family will also make appearances. In contrast, the Duke will be avoiding his family while flying to Dusseldorf for the commencement of the Invictus Games on Saturday, September 9th. The Duchess of Sussex will not include a stopover in the UK on her way to the Games, according to a report by The Telegraph. Discussing the prince's brief visit to the UK, an insider informed the Mirror that while some might suggest using the occasion to reconcile family differences, such a prospect remains distant. Angela Levin, a royal expert and biographer, shared that the mother of two plans to convey a personal message of bravery and perseverance to injured veterans participating in the Games. However, Levin criticized Markle's chosen topic, deeming it ironic given that the former Suits actress doesn't personify either trait. Although Markle's speech may carry more significance this year, she expressed admiration for her husband during the opening ceremony of the 2022 Games. She addressed the crowd in the Netherlands, saying, "It is my esteemed honor to introduce someone whom I believe you all will be incredibly eager to hear from. I hold him in the highest love and respect, and I am confident you share these sentiments. He is the founder of the Invictus Games and the father of our two precious children, Archie and Lily." It appears to me that Meghan failed to grasp the modest and thrifty lifestyle that both the late Queen and the royal family have embraced for a long time. For instance, King Charles III goes so far as to mend his shoes, not just the soles, but the uppers too. He conserves energy by turning off lights to save money. This is a family that experienced the hardships of war and years of rationing, and they have retained their frugal ways. Contrastingly, Meghan seemed to adopt the attitude of, snap, snap, bring on the palatial extravagance. She's a queen, and queens live in palaces. Where's my palace? Let's move in immediately. This clash of cultures, backgrounds, manners, and perceptions highlights the misunderstanding. It's not about displaying wealth. The late Queen, however, did not exhibit such behavior. She wore simple yet well-made clothing for extended periods. She allowed rooms to remain unrefurbished until the paint peeled off the walls and the upholstery became threadbare. This preference resonated with the British aristocracy as a whole. Those with old money reside in aged spaces filled with timeless belongings. Meeting them, one might assume their wealth vanished decades ago, leaving only their refined manners intact. Regarding the Invictus Games, Harry, who devoted 10 years to the British Army, initiated the event in 2014. The Invictus Games serves as a global multi-sport occasion for wounded, injured, and ill servicemen and women, encompassing both veterans and those currently in active service. Interestingly, Netflix has produced a documentary about the event titled Heart of Invictus, scheduled for release later this month. In a preview for the forthcoming film, the father of two discussed his experience of establishing the annual competition as a means to unite veterans. Nevertheless, Levin observed that the formerly exiled royal resembled his former self more than ever in the captivating preview. She conveyed to GB News, "He struck me more like the Harry I knew in 2017 when I was writing his biography. He was brilliant with the soldiers who were damaged mentally or physically. I just wonder if he is coming out of the pit he has been in and he's becoming more like a man himself." The insider additionally revealed that the relationships between the parties involved are still deeply strained after Prince Harry's critical remarks about King Charles, aged 74, and Prince William, aged 41, which he openly expressed in his revealing Netflix documentary and his explosive memoir titled Spare. The last time these three royals were seen together was during the King's coronation on May 6th. Nevertheless, immediately after the service at Westminster Abbey, Prince Harry hurriedly returned home, missing much of the ensuing weekend's festivities. It's worth noting that Meghan was absent from the coronation. A more recent instance of the brothers being seen together, accompanied by their wives, occurred during a walkabout outside Windsor Castle after the Queen's funeral in September. Inside sources suggest that while Prince Harry has no intentions of meeting William or Charles, he might find the time to connect with his cousins, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, with whom he maintains a close relationship. While he remains in the UK, the Duke will have to either arrange to stay in an apartment on one of the royal estates, such as Windsor, or secure accommodations in a hotel or with friends. This is due to his eviction from Frogmore Cottage earlier this year. Prince Harry has been the patron of Wellchild for 15 years and is a regular attendee at the organization's annual awards ceremony. Interestingly, the 2022 Wellchild Awards coincided with the day of the Queen's passing. On that occasion, the Duke and Duchess withdrew from the event, and Harry traveled to Scotland. However, due to a delay in his flight's departure, he was in the air when the news of his grandmother's demise reached the world. The tensions between Prince Harry, King Charles, and his brother escalated following the release of Harry's bombshell biography and his candid Netflix series. In his biography, Spare, which was published earlier this year, Prince Harry recounted that he received explicit instructions from then Prince Charles not to bring Meghan. He detailed how his father cited reasons that he deemed nonsensical and disrespectful for her not accompanying him to Balmoral. In a January interview, he expressed his frustration, saying, "The day that she died was just a really, really horrible reaction from my family members. I was like, we're here to celebrate the life of Granny and to mourn her loss. Can we come together as a family?" The Wellchild ceremony is set to take place a few days before the commencement of Harry's Invictus Games for wounded military personnel and veterans in Dusseldorf, Germany, on September 9th. Prince Harry emphasized the significant impact of Wellchild's critical care on the lives of young individuals and their families, focusing on their physical, mental, and emotional well-being. During the event, he will engage with each winner and their families at a reception prior to the award presentation for the Inspirational Child category, aged 4 to 6, followed by his speech. Matt James, the CEO of Wellchild, highlighted that the awards ceremony will shed light on the extraordinary resilience and spirit displayed by seriously ill young individuals. What do you think of Harry's lone royal visit? Let us know your thoughts below in the comments section. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this newsletter. See you in the next videos. Goodbye.